What's up, y'all? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Facebook ads and how to write good looking ads that are also high converting. But before I begin, my name is Josh, aka Wallamoose, and I post twice a week here on YouTube with videos regarding digital business and entrepreneurship. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe. I would love to have you along for the ride. But without further ado, let's get started. So a lot of people when they're first running Facebook ads, they run a few ads without fully knowing what they're doing. They don't get the results they want, and then they write off Facebook ads saying, oh, they don't work. However, Facebook ads do work, and there's a reason why they're one of the largest ad platforms on the internet, besides Google. You just have to have a few tricks up your sleeve and know what you're doing. And one of the most important parts of having good high converting ads is having good looking ads. So a good image, description, and header. So in this video, I'm going to break down 3 key things that make the content of an ad strong. I'm going to break down the psychology and components of an ad, and then finally I'm going to show 2 examples of a really strong ad. So make sure you watch this video to the end because it's going to be jam-packed full of information. So the first tip to having a strong ad is solving a problem. Don't just take your product or service, put it into an ad, and expect people to be interested in it. People are inherently selfish, and so people will only be interested in stuff that benefits them. And that's why solving a problem and making the solution to that problem the forefront of your ad very successful. And here's some practical examples for that. So let's say you're going to the grocery store and you pick up some light bulbs. You didn't just buy a light bulb because you wanted to buy a light bulb. You did it because either you have a light socket that needs a new light bulb or you just had one that blew out. So essentially, you bought that light bulb because it solved a problem you had of lack of light. Same thing for like if you're doing lawn service. Don't just run an ad promoting your lawn service. Spin it in a way that solves their problem. So make your headline something catchy like tame your weeds or take back control of your yard. So people will be like, oh yeah, my yard is a bit out of control, and that solves that problem. So just a simple mindset change about your product as a solution can really make a huge difference on how you present it. And the second tip is creating scarcity or limitations. So I know for me as an example, whenever I see an ad on Instagram, I never buy anything. I just scroll through, either like it if I'm interested, and then come back to it in like a year when I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that on Instagram like a year ago. And that tends to be the mindset when people run across ads. They'll see it and maybe they're interested, but they'll be like, oh, another time. I'm on Facebook right now, I don't want to buy anything. However, if you create a scarcity, there's more of a call to action and motive for them to go further with it. So let's say you're having a sale and someone's really interested in that product, but you only have the sale for the rest of the week. They'd be like, oh, I want that. I need to buy it by the end of the week. And it creates a sense of urgency and prompts people to go further with it. And then the third tip is social proof. This means getting a customer review or a video of a customer with their testimonial saying how your product helped them solve a problem again in a certain way. People love testimonials because it makes your brand more personable and reputable. So like you as a business, if you're self-promoting and you're like, oh, my product is great because of this and this and this, they're gonna be like, oh, they're just tooting their own horn. But if you have a customer saying, oh yeah, it really worked for me, I would fully recommend it, it creates that sense of humanity behind a business and gives you more reputability. So now that you have those 3 things in mind, let's jump into Facebook and we'll go over the anatomy and psychology of an ad. Alrighty, so we're here in Facebook, and this is just the simple ad creator. This shouldn't take too long. It's just going to go over basically the components of an ad. So whenever people see an ad, and there's a preview over here that I'm going to reference, let me actually zoom in. So when ads first pop up, the first thing people always see or tend to see is the photo. So you want to make sure the photo is an attention grabber and is the main focus of your ad. From there, if they're interested and their attention is grabbed from your photo, they will then go to the header. So in the header, you want to make sure you bring light to the problem or solution like we talked about earlier. Just something quick and catchy that will get people to read further. And then from there, people will look at the subheader, which is more of an elaboration on the problem or solution. And then when I get into the examples later, I'll show you what I mean. Just stay tuned for like maybe 30 more seconds. And then the final thing people will look at is your description. And this is where you can elaborate more on the deal or promotion, product, anything you're doing. It can be a bit longer, but once you have enticed people to look further with your image and header, the body is really just to nail it home and entice people to click through. So quick recap, image first, header, subheader, body, and then bring it home with the body to make them click through. Now let's jump into physical examples because I'm a visual learner and it helps me to see things out. And so I mocked up these 2 examples for an ad, and I'm just going to show you the image and this, and then we'll go up to the body at the end. But let's break down some practical examples and what makes a good ad. Okay, so right off the bat, I have a woman sitting here on a laptop at the beach in a yellow shirt. And I wanted to specifically find someone wearing yellow or a yellow heavy image because statistically, yellow in your image works the best on Facebook. It's something about the contrast from the light blue of the Facebook branding to yellow. It just works really well. They're contrasting, but just in a way where it catches your attention. And then I would stay away from having too many words in your photo. If you want, I would just probably have a photo as is, and then have all the wording in your header and your body. This also helps with your creative department. If you're just doing this by yourself and you don't have creative software or stuff to like design ads, you can just go to websites like pexels.com or unsplash.com and find royalty-free images that you can just slap on there and grab people's attention. And I should also mention, if you have more, I think 25% of your image can't be words. If it's anything more than 25%, Facebook actually won't let you upload. They really discourage you from having a lot of words on there. Okay, so let's jump into the header. Once they see the image, they'll go to the header and it says, "Don't go back to the office." So this immediately touches on a point that could be a problem for a lot of people. They've been working remotely. This video is filmed right after the pandemic of 2020. If you're watching this later down the road, so it's applicable to a lot of people right now, and it's a big concern because a lot of people just don't want to go back to the office. So what I'm doing here is calling out a problem that people need a solution for. They don't want to go back to the office and they need a solution to keep them away from it. And this woman working at the beach on her laptop is really enticing for people who want to work remotely. So they see the header, they see the problem, and then I'll elaborate on it in the subheader. So create the life you want by becoming a freelance writer. And so now they're like completely hooked. They're like, oh yeah, I never want to go back to the office again. I want to be a freelance writer. Tell me more. So from here, we've got their attention, and now they're going to go up to the body very last. And this is where you can really nail in the information and further elaborate what you're talking about or what you're selling. And within your body, it's good practice for a lot of people to start off with a question. It just makes it more human and I don't know the term, like brings people into it so they visualize themselves within the situation. So, have you gotten used to working from anywhere and dread going back to the office? ? And then if it's yes, they're going to continue further, say like, oh, anyone can be a freelance author. It takes a little guidance, download our free ebook. And this is where the call to action is. So download a free ebook and start living the life you want. And they're like, heck yeah, let's do it. And so that's when they go down to the button and hit learn more. So I just mocked this up in Adobe Illustrator. I didn't make an actual Facebook ad, but it's the same structure. So I hope this is a good visualization of how they see the image, go to the header, it brings light to the problem, there's more elaboration on the subheader, and then it really brings it home in the body so they end up clicking. Now let's move on to the second example. It's pretty similar, but this one really brings home to the, or sheds light on the scarcity aspect of it. I mean, that image alone makes me hungry just looking at it. I'm sorry if you're vegan or not into meat. This is just an example. But for me, that really grabs my attention. It makes me hungry. So once they see this, they go down to the header, bring the sizzle home this week only. So this one doesn't necessarily solve a problem right off the bat, but it does create a scarcity. And those 3 tips are not, like you don't have to have all 3. Just have like 1 or 2 just to grab people's attention. So bring the sizzle home this week only. Well, what does that mean? Let's go to the subheader. Make Joe's famous steak from the comfort of your own home. So now we're getting more into the problem. So maybe people are cooking at home and they're disappointed because it's not as good as a restaurant. So are you tired of taking the time to cook at home only to end up disappointed? So again, another question and calling light to the problem. This one calls the light to the problem in the body, whereas the other one did it in the header. Just make sure you have a proper flow throughout. So more description, shedding light on the problem and their solution to your problem, which then entices you to click learn more. And then if you want, you can see these zoomed out so you can see them all together. So if you take all the things I talked about and put them in combination with each other, with a few things here and there, you should have pretty successful ads. If you don't take anything away from this, just make sure you're solving someone's problem. Make sure you give them a reason to want your product or service and entice them to click further. So I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'd love to answer them. I know every business is unique and every situation is different. So what may be applicable to one person may not be to the other. So just feel free to let me know in the comments and I'll try to help you out. But that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and then I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.